Oh my God. Okay. Q&A number 3 here. So many questions. Nick Zamsky, what's up, man? I remember I started following around 6.1 thousand followers. You know what, Nick? I actually do remember that. You're an OG. Glad you're on the rise. 5'7", I hit 175 pounds and decided I want to cut some weight. And I figured now is a good time. I only have gymnastics rings and a 45-pound barbell for curls. I pretty much have been doing dips, push-ups, and then pull-ups and rows the next day. 3 sets, as many reps as possible, since I only can do body weight. Do you have any suggestions, critiques as far as exercises? I absolutely do, Nick. So here's the thing. You're trying to cut basically, but I'm sure you don't want to lose strength and power and all that. Now you're going to probably lose a little bit of strength because you don't have the weights to move. But a lot of times people don't consider, it's not necessarily the weight you move, it's how you move it. So if you do stuff more explosively, like for instance a kettlebell swing, like a 203-pound kettlebell swing is out of this world. You don't see many people doing that. Even a 100-pound kettlebell, a lot of people can't swing that. Yeah, you can deadlift it. Anyone can deadlift a 100-pound kettlebell. Anyone can do that. But can they swing it? Like, can they have that much explosiveness in the movement? So my point is, you have an empty bar, right? 45 barbell, yeah. Do squat jumps with it. Plus that's gonna, holy buckets. Just doing squat jumps like as high as you can for sets of 20 with body weight blows up your quads, right? Now do it with a 45-pound barbell. Seriously, put it on your back, right? Deep, I'm talking hamstrings to calves, right? Hamstrings to calves deep, ass to grass squats, but like explosive. That's gonna shred you up too. Doing 3 sets of 20 with that, that's something to throw in there. Let's see, you got dips, yeah, dips are good, pull-ups, curls, dips, push-ups. Other than that, you should be doing, you can do one arm stuff with your barbell if you want. You can take your barbell with one arm and press it, and it's gonna work on shoulder stability too, because it's kind of like crazy to stabilize. You're gonna have to really grip it to stabilize it. Stronger your grip, the more stable the shoulder joint. And once you go back to pressing dumbbells and all that, they're gonna feel like peanuts, right? You can do front raises with your barbell. Front raises, you can do upright rows with your barbell. You can do muscle cleans, high sets of that. You can do complexes. Do complexes, because you're trying to cut anyway. So like, why don't you do complexes at this time? That's gonna get you conditioned. It's gonna cut you up, and it's gonna be a different type of stimulus to your muscles that they're not used to. So that when you go back to the gym, sure, you might not have peak strength, but you're gonna have a stronger foundation, stronger capacity. So for instance, you can do front raises first, because would be the hardest. You can do upright rows, right? Then you can do muscle clean to press, right? Then you can do behind the neck press, and then you can do, what else could you do there? There's a million things if you're just creative enough. Did bar on your back, squat jumps. Just trying to think of things that you would actually. Yeah, other than that, with the dips, the pull-ups, the squat jumps, and then the curls, the upright rows, the muscle cleans, I think it sounds fine. If you focus on that stuff, the gyms are gonna be back open any day now too, so. Or just buy some weight, and then eventually your options become limitless. Yosef, hey Eric, huge fan question. What are your personal tips, things that you implement for maintaining your unworked muscles while hitting different ones until you cycle back? Maintaining chest gains while doing pull for a week, and then legs for the next week. So excited. Okay, so basically it's like I said, you're not gonna lose any gains in a week. So don't overstress that. Now, if you don't do anything for a month, you're gonna probably start losing stuff. But why would you ever go a month without doing stuff? Now, as I've mentioned on this Patreon numerous times, I deadlift. I've been focusing, I've just done deadlifts the past 5 days, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing I do. And I've said this for years now. If you have time, just do some back off stuff, easy stuff that's not gonna hamper your recovery. So, and this is what I've been doing every day. I do my deadlifts, and afterwards I'll just do some pull-ups because it decompresses my back from the heavy weight compressing my spine. And on top of that, you're hitting every muscle fiber in the upper body. Okay, and then the days, I just deadlifted 5 days in a row, so it's like, all right, maybe I should give my posterior chain, my spine a day off totally. So then I just did overhead press, I just did bench press, right? And you're not gonna lose gains. I mean, if you look at the bro splits and all that, a lot of times they're hitting a muscle group once a week. Now, is it optimal? It depends. But people aren't losing gains doing that. They might not be making as big of gains as they can, but they're not losing gains hitting something once a week. So that's what I would say. It's not like, I think people get what I'm saying twisted when I say like focus on one movement. I'm not saying just do one movement. And when I say one movement, one top set, they're like one set of one exercise. Like I'm going into the gym and I'm working out for 5 minutes. No, I'm in the gym for 2 hours a day, every single day. And then when you throw work in the mix and all that, I'm in the gym for 4 hours a day, if not more. So the things, and it's like the warm-ups and all that kind of stuff. Like you guys have seen the shoulder warm-ups I do. So I'm doing the shoulder warm-ups before I do anything, and that's hitting my delts, that's hitting my traps, right? Then I'm doing the deadlifts, which is hitting all the muscle groups in the entire body. And then the days I need a break from the deadlifts, I'm doing the presses. And after the deadlifts, I'm doing the pulls. So everything is being worked. It's just the deadlift is getting the most focus, rightfully so, because I think it's the most beneficial movement, because it's not like we humans evolved to lift barbells and do a bunch of different exercises. We evolved just to pick up random objects. And what's the most similar to picking up random objects other than deadlifting? So that's kind of what anatomically I think we're designed to do. But yeah, I mean, really, like you said, for example, maintaining chest. I mean, I think that's a lot of people's probably concerns. Like with deadlifting, it's working your traps and it's working your lats and it's working everything. But it's like, what about the mirror muscles? Well, the mirror muscles are the easiest stuff to work. You know what I mean? So after you do heavy, intense deadlifts, then just hit a couple sets of curls to back off, or hit a couple sets of, I mean, those are the fun muscles to work. So whether you're in a gym or anything like that, dumbbell bench, I mean, hit 3 sets. That stuff's not gonna hamper your recovery. You're not going full ham bone crazy, grinding 1 rep maxes. If you hit a couple sets, 3 sets of 10 after you hit your deads, you're gonna maintain. As long as you're not, the only time I've experienced significant atrophy was after serious knee construction surgery when I couldn't bend my knee for 2 months. Then I lost size and strength, so unless your muscles are completely immobilized, you're not really gonna lose a lot if you're in the gym and you're lifting and you're releasing growth hormone and peaking testosterone and all that kind of stuff. All right, ADS, Boogs, great vid as always. I posted these 2 questions on YouTube, but they may get lost. Well, I'm glad that you did, brother. Do you eat meat? I never hear you talk about meat, just mainly milk and veg. All right, I actually don't eat meat. I don't. Mainly because I'm trying to be as heart healthy as possible. And that's kind of why I've scrapped the gallon of milk a day, and I've scrapped the dozen eggs a day. And a lot of people say, well, dietary cholesterol doesn't affect your cholesterol. But then there's other studies that say dietary cholesterol directly affects your cholesterol to a degree and all that. So like, I would rather just play it safe. I mean, there's a million things to eat, not to mention, so we're talking about heart disease. Heart disease in my family. My brother got diagnosed with severe high blood pressure when he was 15 or 16 years old. Both my grandparents died of heart attack and stroke. My grandma actually just had a stroke. One of my uncles has high blood pressure, high cholesterol. One of my other uncles had a heart attack at 40 years old. What am I missing here? Basically, all my relatives have suffered heart disease. They've either died from heart disease or have had heart attacks or are diagnosed. It's out of this world. Now, my biggest vice is the caffeine consumption. And, that's a problem. But I try to monitor the blood pressure the best I can. Now, here's my logic. I've gone through phases of eating, pounds of ground beef and hamburgers a day and all that kind of stuff. And size-wise and strength-wise, it hasn't made any difference. So if I'm not eating that stuff, then I'm more likely to eat, walnuts and pecans and, like I was saying, like bagels. Like, I'll tell you something right now, eating super high carbs is what has led me to more size, and I feel when I'm super carved up, I feel stronger. Okay, just my opinion. instead of, what are we talking about here? Yeah, so with the heart disease, one of the factors too is blood pressure. My blood pressure has always been, it's been a little high always. I'm talking about even in the morning. Now, a lot of times I think that's because they use a smaller cuff on my arm. And that cuff makes a big difference. But still, it's never below 120/80. It's always above. So if you take the fact that I'm also drinking pre-workout and coffee every single day, my blood pressure is probably elevated. So on top of that, I told you guys working out in the garage with the severe heat and how I work out multiple times a day because I have to and all that. Like, I have so many like red blood cells and damaged muscle and all that, like to excrete. And that's what I was saying. I've had like rhabdo a couple times. I'm actually starting to take my kidney health pretty seriously, and because of that, I'm trying to. I'm not even focused with high protein consumption. I don't even honestly care about protein. My main thing is just getting calories in, and the healthiest amount of calories I can too. I don't want to have a heart attack when I'm 35, when I'm deadlifting or stroke or have an aneurysm or anything like that. I have brain hemorrhage. You know what I mean? So I love lifting. I love being intense and crazy. And because of that, I have to make changes in my lifestyle that can allow me to keep doing that without dying. How much pump work do you do? I see the PRs, but are you pumping those guns afterward to keep them large? Not always. Pump work, I don't do a ton of it. Mainly like for arms, I'm kind of on the school of thought of like pull-ups will build your arms pretty well. Like presses, bench press will build your triceps pretty well. So very rarely do I ever do like tricep pump work. And just because I have a set of dumbbells, time after time, as I mentioned in the previous post, I might do just a few sets of curls afterwards, just because, not so much, well, I want to do jacked and stacked arms, but, because I want to, stretch and kind of just condition my arms so that I don't tear my bicep when I'm deadlifting. That's the main thing. Or I'll do them to warm up before I do deadlifts and stuff like that. So I don't do a ton of it, but a lot of times when I do pump stuff, it's a warm up. So like the shoulder sequence gets my shoulders extremely pumped, but then I'm getting blood flowing and my shoulders are feeling good, my elbows are feeling good, all right, before I go into heavy lifting stuff. So, but I'll never really take a full day just to pump. It always revolves around strength. The pump is just the icing on the cake. The strength is the cake, the pump is the icing. Way more strength than pump work. That's my recommendation. Paris Butler. Eric, been following you for a couple years now since I started training. I'm a huge fan. Had a question on the best advice as far as quad exercises for long legs dudes. 5'11", but I have really long legs. Currently a Zercher box squatting 405, 12-inch box. Not super elite, but still strong. It is strong. But I've never get a good workout with my quad exercises as I do RDLs and good mornings. Okay, well then I would recommend this. I would recommend don't do box squats, because box squats, you're sitting back basically. It's gonna be better to engage your hips, I think. More hip dominant when you use a box. Elevate your heels, put something under your heels, whether you're Olympic lifting shoes or whether you get like a squat block or whatever to stand on, heels elevated. If you do all that kind of stuff, heels, like really heels elevated squats, whether front squats, back squats, Zercher squats, you're already gonna get a lot more quad activation just because of how your levers are gonna have to move. And like you said, you're a long-legged person, but that shouldn't affect your quad dominance and movements. But here's the thing. I think quads will respond really well to higher volume work. So for your quads, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing your Zercher box squats and all that, but just do some sets of, high rep jump squats, right? With no weight, or with, like I said to the previous guy, with an empty barbell or something like that. Do super high elevated heel squats for high reps. I bet if you just do that, if you just change your variations in that regard and you just do high reps, your quads are gonna respond. That's just my 2 cents. Let's see. Let me know how that goes. We can add more if need be. All right. All right. Valen. Oh my God, I gotta end this. I got another video. All right, next Q&A. Going on number